Welcome to Podcast Marketing Secrets, the place for entrepreneurs, coaches, and CEOs who are looking to grow their business with a podcast, become a key person of influence in their industry, and get their ideal clients to come to them, also known as attraction marketing. I'm your host, Al Morenton. My guest today is Amy Singleton. Amy is the owner of Height Digital in Norman, Oklahoma. She's a former nurse who assisted with open heart surgery for over a decade. Amy began to believe that she could contribute to her community on a bigger scale. Along with her husband, they launched their digital marketing business together. On a personal note, life has presented Amy with numerous challenges, but she's managed to overcome them all. She went from being overweight and struggling with alcoholism to running two successful companies. Amy is committed to finding greatness in human failure. She wants to expose that there's room in business for misfits, as well as opportunities and hope for everyone, especially after bad choices and outside force generated failures. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Hey, Al, thanks for having me, man. It's such a pleasure.
That's awesome. Awesome. I like how you put that outside force generated failures. Right on. So, how did you go from a nurse assisting with open heart surgery to a digital marketer helping businesses grow and scale?
Yeah, what a wild and completely different job title, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting story. I'll make it as quick as I can. But yes, I was a registered nurse assisting in open heart surgeries for over a decade, and toward the end of that career, things started happening to me, and from my own hand. I got a divorce. I had broken my back. I started experiencing a lot of strange symptoms in my body, and I was not physically able to carry on with nursing anymore. So luckily I had some retirement or some disability insurance and all those sorts of things. So I was able to leave the nursing field. And I had several years where I was in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, couldn't move, was living back with family, was really, really destitute in my physical body. And then my mental health, of course, followed suit with that. And it wasn't until I met my new husband. I did a lot of self-development, of course, and counseling and therapy and all of the things it takes to kind of get back on your feet and overcome those things. But once I did overcome those things, my body still wasn't necessarily in a place where I could or wanted to go back to nursing. Physically, it's a very demanding job. And my partner, my husband, Joseph, who I run this agency with now, is a serial entrepreneur. He had owned several businesses in mainly the home contracting space. So painting, general contracting. And at the time I met him, he was consulting out of state in his own business. And we were just really, really far away. So we were looking for ways to put me back to work in a way that I could and use both of our talents and serve our community. So he was like, we were just brainstorming one day and he says, you know who I paid like a lot of money to? Marketers, people, lead services, people like Angie's List, people like GoDaddy, people who promised me the world and gave me nothing in my business. He said, I really think with your creativity and my operations, savvy, I think we can do better. And so that's what we did. We dug in and started learning all of the things that we should have learned as business owners back then about the marketing piece. And we discovered it's a lot harder than what we thought, but we got really good at it. And so now we're able to bring so much joy to our lives by bringing him home. Now we work side by side every day. I'm able to do some things. We work with a lot of medical clients and, of course, home services clients to help bring them leads and that attraction marketing you spoke about. We turn their websites into lead generating machines, websites that attract the right kind of people so that they can grow their business and focus on the things that they're really good at, which typically is not the marketing piece in business.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, just like when we were speaking before the press record about how podcasts can consume like a marketer, the same thing with marketing can consume a business owner.
Absolutely.
If they try to take that on, then they can't, work on or in their business.
Yeah.
So, for sure. So, so that's awesome. And the clients that you have are from your two fields, like medical and the home services. So that's beautiful. And home services is huge, lucrative if you can get in there. And your husband having that in from being in the industry
Absolutely
must be awesome. And
We found that it's very helpful to really speak our clients' language, whenever, especially medical people, they're kind of funny. We don't trust just anybody. We want to know that someone understands us and sees us. And I think that's true for everybody. So it's a very, very unique position that we're not just marketers. We've actually been in business. We've been there. We've ran the tools. We've done the payroll. We've done the hiring. We've had the vans break down. We've been in those shoes. So we totally understand what a business owner is going through when they're going, I just need my phone to ring.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then I saw, that you have your podcast. So how did you get into podcasting?
Well, I mean, isn't that the job of every good marketer to have a podcast these days?
That's what I try to
No.
tell people.
Yeah. Well, it's really it's really two or threefold for me. Number one, I wanted to give women a voice. Now that we have kind of a seat at the table, especially in a lot of different industries that we historically didn't have a seat at the table in, I just want to give a voice to women business owners and women thinking about becoming business owners or entrepreneurs, to let them know, hear the stories of other women, how they've made it work, where they failed, where they succeeded, so that we can kind of rally around one another and just have a community of women leaders in business and in communities. So that's really what Queens Lead is all about. But also, it definitely positions you as an authority in your space. Whenever you have a podcast talking all about what it is that you do, in my case, marketing and business, it positions you as an absolute authority in your space. So, it's absolutely not unheard of now for home contractors to have a podcast, right? Like where a lot of people are beginning to establish themselves as a resource and authority in their particular niche or industry because of a podcast, and developing a community of trusted supporters around that, and also educating people in that industry, because well, I'm a human. I don't know everything. I'm completely fallible. I can always learn. And so bringing other marketers onto my podcast is even, so that I can learn from them, and also so that my audience can learn from them, because we're all just humans out here trying to do the best we can. And I think that we all need some support in that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And podcasts are definitely a great tool. Like a good example, like for a realtor, like they can get all their home services people that they interview and all this kind of stuff in their community, and build that out. There's just so many different ways to utilize a podcast for pretty much any business that has customers.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. So the name of the podcast is Queen's Lead, right?
Queen's Lead. That's right.
Okay, and so
We
and
put on
it's
the
awesome.
crown when people say very leaderly things on Queen's Lead.
That's awesome. So that's beautiful that you're giving women a voice, and then showing the stories of other women, like both, not just the successes but the failures as well, because there's so many struggles that people don't see behind the scenes with entrepreneurship. So that's good that you have the voice and support system, like sort of there for other women, and that you took the lead for that, because congratulations for doing that. That's super awesome. So what is the mission, or like the goal of the Queen's Lead?
Just to uplift other women, to give them a resource, to up for the listeners, it's to uplift them and let them know what's possible by hearing the other stories of other women. It can really give them confidence and give them courage to take that step. And for the guests, my goal is to expose them and their business and all that they're working so hard on to other people, so that they can potentially do business with them as well.
Awesome. Yeah, because the probably it's about 50-50, like women and men that listen to this. So I wanted to get that out there, so
Absolutely.
they could have something to
We have a few male listeners, believe it or not. We've had one male guest. The very first, the second episode of season 2 just released a few weeks ago, and a professional voiceover artist, the only male that's ever been on the show, interviewed me. So this guy has been the voice of Audi, Brahms, many Disney characters over the years. He was a child actor on Sesame Street way back in the day, and that was a lot of fun. So We've had one male guest, and we do have several male listeners. In fact,
Awesome.
a lot of the males I know that listen have been listening and referring the young women in their lives. I heard a great story. An IT professional I know that listens to my podcast was able to direct his young niece, who's 18 or 20, to my podcast because she's feeling angsty and not quite sure what she wants to do with her life, but feels called in some way to business and leadership. And so, young, old, male, female, there's something for everybody that can be beneficial there.
That's awesome. And it's super cool that you like, you're leading from the front. You have an existing business. You're not, like then become like a coach trying to do whatever for that.
Oh my
So
Lord.
like you actually, had a career, had adversity through that.
That's right.
Pivoted. Came out the other side.
That's it.
New husband, new career, all that kind of stuff. And so that's super awesome. And you're a good guiding light for that.
Well, thank you. I think we're all over the expert guru advice of someone
Mhm.
who hasn't actually been there and done that thing. You say just another coach. I've had lots of people ask me to become a coach. I don't want to be a coach. I'm not equipped to be a coach, but I will definitely tell you what to do. I'll tell you what I did and how I failed, and show you the way, because I have, like you said, I've been there. I've had the businesses. I understand what it's like to try and grow something from a very tiny baby, and it's not easy. And I've done that, and I want to be the voice to other people to show them that they can do that too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then you mentioned that like the podcast can position you as an authority in your space, right? So
Mhm.
so like a center of influence, I guess you could say. And so how can you utilize that to help to grow your business? Because I know a lot of people that have a lot of they have that authority, but they don't utilize it to grow their business. Not that that's the end all be all, but it is nice, to be able to do that, or at least know how to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that having a podcast and giving value, just giving extreme value to people, acts like a magnet to others whenever they are thinking about who they might want to do business with. It creates memorability as well. And there's just such endless opportunity with repurposing content from a podcast to a short form video on YouTube to reels on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all these others. So if nothing else, the person can use their podcast and these conversations as content creation, all while having meaningful, deep conversations around their industry, interviewing experts, interviewing their customers, their clients, the people who maybe they're suppliers or vendors, depending on the industry, creating relationships with the people that you're interviewing, and with your audience. It's all a part of positioning yourself as that authority in your space, and it helps you to have a broader reach and for people to more easily call people to mind whenever they're thinking about, man, who do I know in the leadership space, or who do I know in the marketing space? Oh, Queen's Lead. I've seen her podcast, I've seen her things on YouTube, I've seen it on TikTok and on Facebook. She's everywhere. She must know what she's talking about when it comes to marketing and leadership, right? So let's go to them as a resource. That's really the whole idea of trying to create some authority in your space.
Yeah, for sure. Those are some awesome insights. Yeah, especially like because I have a podcast production company, and like it's one of the things that I try to hone in is that it can save you a bunch of time and give you way more marketing assets that actually matter, right? Instead of
Yeah.
just dancing around, every day, because I'm in the beauty and wellness and fitness kind of space. So a lot of
Yeah.
people do, they're trying to just create something new every day, and
Yeah.
when there's like, you could have a podcast with a topic and then take pieces of it and, spread them out on social media and market that thing so people could see that you are an expert and an authority and have relationships with other people that are
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And then you said, like you said, it helps to develop relationships with others in your field.
Hmm.
That's cool. And then keeping you as front of mind, so you're the go-to person, all that kind of stuff. That's super essential.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So so do you think that like pretty much every business should have a podcast?
No, absolutely not. Every business should not have a podcast. No, I don't think so.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, you think it should be like more people that have put in like their 10,000 reps basically, and are more authorities, and
Well, I just think it's depending on where they are in business, if they're still busy in the day-to-day of the running and answering the phone and all those things of the business, it might not be time to split your time between that and a podcast. But if you've reached some level of success and you have something to share, something to offer, and you're not afraid to do something that won't make you any money right off the bat, then a
yeah,
podcast might be for you. Yes.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. The thing I love most about it is the relationship part, where you can build that, because that's how you get people that are on the same wavelength and could actually help you. Because as a business owner, like, you're usually with your friends and stuff like that, or especially your family, they don't understand what
Mm-mm.
you're doing, so it puts you around, and meeting people like you, for me, it's refreshing, to know there's other people out there that struggle, and come out the other side and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
100%.
So that's one of the things that I was thinking about last night. And what do you think about this? There's so many like entrepreneurs that I know that have, they had, like, things go pretty good, then all of a sudden some stuff happens, and then they get this idea, to start this company, and that they, become something cool or whatever. And do you think that people can uh just go out there and start something, and never have any kind of struggles, or do you think struggle is a part of being successful?
I think struggle is a part of being successful. Absolutely. I think anything worth doing is hard. It doesn't mean it has to be unenjoyable. It doesn't mean that it won't be successful, but it takes effort. Things that are worthwhile take our effort and our time and our attention. And so, yeah, I would be challenged to think of anyone I know that has achieved any level of success that didn't have some kind of struggle along the way, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So, and then like I love what uh, you said, like when I was doing the introduction, that there's room in business for misfits. So what does that mean?
Well, I you can't tell today because it's like I said, it's a little chilly here in Oklahoma. But my husband and I both are pretty covered up in tattoos. I
Hmm.
have a nose ring. I may not always have the cleanest mouth. I may not always have the the same viewpoints and values of those in my immediate vicinity in here in Oklahoma, which is a very southern conservative place, we'll say that.
Hmm.
But yeah, and I find that there is lots and lots of room for different kinds of people. I think when a lot of people start off in business, they just want everyone to like them. They want to do business with anybody that will pay them money, any project that comes along, any job. If you're a plumber, you're like, yeah, I'll come and plunge your toilet. I don't care. I just need the job. I need the money, right? I want to please and serve everyone. And as you get a little further along in business, then you start to really figure out who your people are, where your values are. And I have found that the more in line my values are with those that I'm serving, the better everything else goes in that project, in my life and in their life. So I like to work with people that are similar to me. I love to be around people that challenge me as well. But as far
Hmm.
as um, just I think it's time to make room for the people who are not necessarily, you know, in a three-piece suit and with a Harvard, education, MBA, and all that. Gone are the days that was a business person. Now I think you could look at anyone and think, yeah, you know what, they might own a business.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that's awesome that you're sharing that, because it allows people to understand that they could just be themselves. And there's plenty of people out there that are, like them, that, they're looking for that, for business, to do business with somebody, and that you could be the obvious choice for them.
Yeah.
And so many times I see people that do have a little bit of an edge, like to them, to their persona. They try to be somebody else when they start a business,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
that
yeah.
and they can't grow until they actually become themselves, right?
That's right. 100%. Yeah. I love to be able to be the marketer that someone can pick up the phone and go, what the hell? I mean, Amy, help me with this. And I'm like, oh yeah, what the hell indeed. Let's dig right in. Let's take care of this thing, and not be unapproachable
Yeah.
in business,
Yeah, and that's where where, like you were saying earlier, keeping it fun, and something that you look forward to, otherwise you may as well have the job and then regret the
Yeah,
Monday and all that,
exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, because success, people like to just do it with money, but there's so many different other aspects of it, and happiness and peace of mind, that kind of stuff is key. It's awesome that you work with your husband too. You get to do that.
Yeah.
That's so cool, I think.
It's been a
Um,
real pleasure.
so, do you have any like favorite marketing strategies as we, move, into 2024? Like what's working the day that people might not be thinking of?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things that are working. The thing that always works and is not trendy, in my opinion, is messaging. What we're saying. No amount of ad dollars, no amount of beautiful website, no amount of TV ads, radio ads, anything, no amount of Facebook posting is going to get through to your audience unless you're speaking the right language. So really telling that story of of your customer and not yourself, I think, is a big mistake most business owners make. They speak about themselves too much and not to that customer and directly to that problem that they're solving for their customer. Something that we have been very deep into right now as far as effectiveness is, the things that we offer. Sometimes the things that happen on the internet, they happen slowly. SEO happens slowly. Even sometimes ads happen slowly. And a lot of businesses are like, I need leads now. So what we've been doing is campaign reactivation campaigns of existing client lists, and making offers to all of those people in your database that you maybe haven't talked to in 5 months, 6 months, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, and kind of reactivating those people as existing clients that we may be able to engage more with, has been working very, very well. And we're using AI, in fact, tied in with that, so that we get the client moved closer and closer to the sale, or closer and closer to that appointment, without directly involving the time or effort of our clients. So that's been very helpful and effective for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool that you offer that too, because um, that's like a quick cash injection too for the business, right? So
Correct.
it's
Yeah.
something you can offer to the business like right away. Like we're getting this marketing going, and it's going to take, truthfully, 3 to 6 months before we see some action from that. But we could do something
Yeah.
right now to get
That's
you
right.
money right now, and then
Yeah.
you show your value quickly, and then you retain people longer that way.
That's right. Yeah.
And then that gives you the opportunity to help them better, and so they
Right.
can see the full value of your services.
Yeah.
Because it's not like people, I think, often equate hiring a marketer to like getting an online software service, like an email thing, like they should be able to see value as soon as they get it,
Mhm.
and and with marketing, it does take time, sometimes.
Yes,
So
absolutely does.
yeah, that's awesome. So the the client reactivation, I actually did them as well, because I had a gym for 28 years, and we would do those, and at least once a year, if not a couple times a year,
Hmm.
and that literally was like like printing money.
Hmm. It
Yeah.
definitely is. Yeah. Database reactivation is where it's at right now. It works very well.
And I can't even imagine like being able to like put in all the automations and AI and everything that,
Yeah.
because back then it was just like an email thing, and the
Yeah.
email.
Manual process. Oh my gosh. Yeah. No more manual. No more manual processes, man. Everything we can do that we can save time on, we want to do that.
Yeah. And then what you were saying about the messaging, and then earlier you were talking about the how you turn your clients' websites into like basically lead generation machines, basically.
Yes.
So do you help with the messaging and all of that before
Yes.
you start running ads for people and all that?
Absolutely. That's one of the first things, unless it's just a very established business that's already doing very well, the very first thing that we look at is their messaging. And this last year, Height Digital went through the process to become the largest StoryBrand certified agency in the world, which
Mhm.
means it's a special framework. If you're familiar with Donald Miller
Yeah.
in the works of him, building a story brand is the name of the book. Highly suggest everybody reads that. It's like you said, it's like printing money for your business. When you really get that language right, you start speaking to the customer in their language. And of course, there's a whole lot more that goes into it. But the reason we do that first is because typically after we do that messaging language, that calls for a homepage redesign or a new website. Most of the time, because we also want that website to be speaking in that exact same framework and in that same language that people need to see in order to know, like, and trust you enough to really do business and bring their problems to you to solve. So typically that messaging consultation comes at the very beginning of our engagements.
That's awesome. And you're StoryBrand certified?
Yes, we are.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I know exactly what that is, and I implemented that into my wellness business, and there's even like a methodology of like how you structure the homepage and all that stuff, right? And everything,
Absolutely.
and it works.
It
It
works.
works. And then there's also that thing they say these days where people like they do their own research and things like that, and it
Hmm.
helps people to get more informed, and find out more about you and want to do business. Like when customers or prospects actually come to the business owner, they're almost ready to buy.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
not a
they're
big
all
struggle
there's
or
no
battle.
convincing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been
So
positioned as an authority, and they've seen, and for those of you not familiar with the story brand framework, Al will know what I'm talking about. They're already feeling like a hero. They're like, I can't not hire this person. Like, my life is going to be so much better. I'm going to avoid all this failure. I'm going to have all of these wonderful results from doing business with this person. Like, they can't get enough. They want to call right away. But like you said, people today are doing their research. I struggle not to chuckle when I hear people say, "Oh, all of my business comes from word of mouth." Well, I think that's probably people who say that probably have never experienced the absolute joy of having the internet work in their favor and bringing those people closer and closer to wanting to do business. Because I don't care these days. I don't care if my mother is the person who gives me that referral. The very first thing I'm going to do is hop over to my Google machine and go check out that business. I'm going to look at their socials. I'm going to look at their website. What are they all about? Are they speaking my language? Are they easy? Do they seem like they're easy to do business with? And if your website is clunky, slow, not mobile friendly, not saying the right things, people are going to back right out and come, go right down to the next listing that will solve their problem.
Yeah, for sure, and you're right. Like especially with wellness and fitness, like you recommend, or even beauty, any service thing, like home services, anything. You recommend a company, and the person's pulling out their phone and looking up their Google page,
Yeah.
as you're
Yeah. Right then.
talking
Let
to
me go
them.
see. Let me go look at their reviews. Let me go and yeah,
Do they
100%.
exist?
Yeah. And furthermore, whenever, that's on a word, that's on a word of mouth referral. If I tell you, Al, go to this website and check out these people, well, that's a direct search. And you may find that website that way. But Google is also wanting to make sure that these businesses are trustworthy, reliable, authoritative, relevant. And so having a website that doesn't meet those needs, that isn't fast, isn't friendly, doesn't answer questions, Google will not serve that thing up as a result anymore. It knows better, and it knows what websites know what they're talking about and what businesses are doing the thing and which ones aren't. So So yeah, it's more important than ever to have that really solid online presence.
Awesome, awesome. So beautiful. So I love like how you have your business structured. You know, because it, uh, it could really help people, especially in like the home services, and stuff like that. It's huge, and
Mhm.
um, like there's not many people out there that understand that story brand methodology and how it just that's attraction marketing.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So is there like one like big thing or big idea that people should take away from this interview?
Oh man. Give yourself a little bit of grace. We've talked about a lot of really expert level marketing and tactics and strategies and stuff. And stand firm in the fact if you're out there and you're a business owner listening to this, and you're a home services, you're a plumber, you're a painter, you're a craftsman, you know your trade, you know your business, and you know that skill, and have the faith in yourself to reach out to experts that can help you with the things where you lack. You need a bookkeeper. That's not your thing. Hire a bookkeeper. If you need, a strategist, a marketer, hire that person. Don't be afraid to reach out and get help where you need it, because you are solid in your field and you know what you're doing. And you don't have to know all of the things to have a successful business.
Awesome, awesome. And then so like for the people out there that like say, hey, like that she sounds awesome, and that story brown stuff that sounds super cool. I'd like to have a business like that. How do people find out more about you or get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. We made it really easy. I am the real Amy Singleton on all of the social platforms at the real Amy Singleton and at amysingleton.net. That's my landing page. You can reach all of my different websites on there. And there's a form toward the bottom of that page. If one of your listeners would like a free website audit, I'll have my team go over and do about a 3-4 minute video just showing them some areas of opportunity on their website where they can improve things themselves. And we'll shoot that over in an email. Just go over to amysingleton.net, type in all your information, and in the comments area, just say, we'd like a free website audit. Give us your website URL, and we'll get that over in your inbox right away.
That's awesome. And we'll be sure to include all the links and everything in the show notes below the episode on video and audio. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing all your insights with us.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. So that concludes this episode of Podcast Marketing Secrets. This is Al Morenton signing off. I hope you have a successful day.